Hi guys, Mitchell here. For our extension activity today, we're going to be focusing on one Olympic event in particular. So during your lesson that you just did, you will now know that we are focusing this week's lesson all around the Olympics. So for the extension activity right now that we're doing, it's going to be based on the sport or event of softball. Okay, now softball is an event that Australia usually does really well at. Australia has won 4 different medals at softball in the Olympics. Okay, so we've won 3 bronze medals and 1 silver medal. Now, softball is back into the Olympics for the first time in 12 years. So for the previous 12 years before the Olympics right now in Japan, it wasn't in those Olympics, unfortunately, but it is back now. Okay, and that's a really good thing because, like I said before, Australia usually do really well at it. Okay, now our main competitors at this year's Olympics are going to be the USA and Japan. They're 2 really good countries at softball. So hopefully this time, keep our fingers crossed, our softball team can win a gold medal, which would be great. Alright guys, so before we get into our activity, what we're going to do first is we're going to learn the basics of how to throw a proper softball pitch. Okay, so that's what it's called a pitch. So in softball or baseball, when you're throwing the ball from the pitcher to the batter, it's called a pitch. Now in softball, you do this in a very particular way. Okay, it's done by doing an underarm throw like this. Okay, in baseball, you might see them pitch like this, overarm, but in softball, we go underarm. Okay, now when you're throwing an underarm pitch, what I want you to do is I want you to hold the object that you're throwing. So for me, it's a pair of socks. I want you to hold the object that you're throwing in your dominant hand. Okay, so that's my right hand. That's the hand that I write with. So I hold it in my right hand like this. Then I have 1 foot forward, 1 foot a little bit back. Before I'm about to throw my pitch, I take a little step forward. My arm comes up and around, and then I release the ball at about this angle. Okay, so you want to release the ball when it gets to about waist high. If you do it too low, let it go too early, it's going to hit the ground. If you let it go too late, it's going to go up in the air and it's going to hit the roof. So the perfect time to release that ball is waist high. Alright guys, before we get started, I want to go over some rules that you're going to need to follow when you're playing this game. Okay, now first things first, I want to go over what you guys need to play the game, and it's simple. All you need is something to throw, so I'm going to be using a pair of socks that are scrunched up and a target to aim at. Okay, so I'm going to use a chair to try and throw my pair of socks at. That's all you need. Okay, that's the best part about the game. You can play with anything around the house. Okay, doesn't matter if you don't have any softball equipment, that's fine. Okay, now I want you to set yourself up about 5 or 6 meters away from your target. Okay, as you get better at the game, you can take some steps back and throw from a further distance, a bit further away. It's up to you. Okay, but you can start off about 5 or 6 meters away. Now, hopefully you've got enough space to play this game in. Try and find an area where you've got lots of space to use. Now, you'll see from my video quickly whilst I'm playing the game that I don't really have much space where I'm playing, but you can still do it. Okay, so just try and find the maximum amount of space possible that you can. Okay, now rules for the game. This is the way it works. It will work best if you play with somebody else. Okay, you can still practice by yourself, that's fine, and you can still verse yourself, but it's better if you have somebody else to play with. So if you have a brother or a sister, or maybe your mum or your dad, they might want to play the game too, that would be great. So here's how it works. If it's your turn, if you're the first person, what you're going to do is you're going to have 1 minute to do your underarm throws. Okay, so you have to throw your pair of socks as many times as possible. Okay, each time you hit the chair, you get 1 point. If you miss the chair, you don't get a point for that throw. Okay, so there is a little bit of running involved to get back to the spot to throw from. Okay, you want to do it as quickly as possible because you want to get in as many throws as you possibly can in that 1 minute. If you hit your target 20 times in the minute, that's your score. Then it's the next person's turn. Okay? Their score to beat is 20. If they can beat your score of 20, if they can get 21, 22, 23 points, they win that round.